This is truly an emotional day. It's been a difficult journey through ugly terrain to reach the light on the other side that we will reach when we sign this bill. Why are we at the Daily News today? Because one lesson is that true journalism still matters. It's not enough to have facts and righteousness on your side. If one is trying to take on major institutions and challenge the status quo and raise an ugly reality, the first step is still exposure. The first step is to tell the truth, that citizens must understand the problem. And it's the citizens that must demand change before the political process will act. Theoretically, traditionally, the way I was raised, that is the role of journalists. To reveal the facts, to paint the picture, to tell the truth, even when ugly, even when uncomfortable, to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable, to challenge the abuse of big institutions. While so much of journalism today has turned into tweets and Facebook and Instagram posts, today says real journalism still matters. And that's why we're here today. On the issue of the Child Victims Act, it was the Daily News that told the story, that publicized the abuse victims, that came forward. It was the Daily News that started the drumbeat for justice. It happened in this room. And at a time when some think that journalism has been reduced to no more than 280 characters in a tweet, the Daily News wrote 252 articles on the Child Victims Act. Since 2009, the Daily News wrote 223 articles, 29 editorials, 975,000 characters on one issue, one topic over 10 years. That, my friends, is real journalism, and that's how we make change. It is that tenacity, that stubbornness, that indignation, that exercise of true journalism, that New York toughness that brings us here today. Like Jacob Riis and photojournalism and the Pentagon Papers and Watergate and the Me Too movement covered by New Yorker magazine, like Arthur Brown and Heidi Evans and Beverly Weintraub's coverage of 9/11 responders so they got the health care they so desperately needed, like Greg Smith's work exposing the horrendous conditions of NYCHA where children are being poisoned. The Daily News was relentless in their telling of the truth. In many ways, in the spirit of the greats, I can only imagine Jimmy Breslin looking down on us today saying, "You did good, kids." And once the Daily News exposed the facts, then we needed a courageous government official to pick up the baton and force government action. For the past 13 years, the bill died in the state Senate. Not because people voted against it, but even worse, because they wouldn't bring the bill to the floor. They wouldn't tell the people of the state the position of the politicians. This year, with a new Senate, the bill came to the floor. It passed unanimously, 63-0, because even the Republicans voted for it, because once the truth sees the light of day, it is undeniable. So today we are about to sign a bill, long in coming, that makes history. Why? Because great journalists excelled, because elected officials persevered and showed courage. But most of all, we are here today because courageous victims who endured great pain and great anger, anguish and great humiliation, had the courage to come forward and tell their story. This bill legally changes the law and gives victims until their 55th birthday to bring a civil suit, their 28th birthday to seek felony charges, and their 25th birthday to seek misdemeanor charges. It creates a one-year window to revive old-time barred cases, and that is all good. But the bill, to me, does something else that is frankly more important. This bill brings justice to people who were abused. The bill rights the wrongs that went unacknowledged and unpunished, and that compounded the pain. To be abused, to suffer in silence for decades, and to have society as a whole not even acknowledge your pain and abuse, and in many cases, to protect the perpetrator and to demonize the allegation that one would make against the perpetrator, made this situation even more difficult and more horrendous. Today says justice is done. Today says nobody is above the law. The bill says for those who are cloaked with authority, that cloak is not impenetrable, that if you violate the law, we will find out and you will be punished. And I truly hope that for the millions of victims, and there are millions, who have experienced this gruesome crime, they know it was not their fault. They did nothing wrong. And that this horrific wrong was done to them, not because of anything they did or anything they should have done. And today that wrong is exposed and it is made right. And this is society's way of saying we are sorry. We are sorry for what happened to you.